afternoon, sports fans from all around the globe. I am your host, Jeff Dawson, East Coast Sports Investors, and this is your closing bell for Tuesday, August 16th, 2022. Past the halfway mark of August. Monday is gone, Tuesday is here. I was playing back yesterday's show in my head, and I think me and Riley did pretty damn good yesterday. We were on the right side of a lot of games. We were, I forget the exact phrase you used. That was 2-1. The fired manager, Texas wins. The traveling Sunday night team on ESPN. By the way, Greg Peterson of VSiN all of a sudden retweeted that stat. Julian Edlow on this morning was talking about it. Riley's my judge. He has it in quotes. We've been talking about that for weeks now, weeks. And it was the topic of this morning. The Dodgers, of course, always got to ruin the party. They take care of business with the Brewers. But overall, spot on for the ECSI VIPs. Listen, guys, I talked about Riley's White Sox. I talked about Atlanta not team total, run line. We talked about the Rays. We talked about the fired manager. We had a lot of winners out here yesterday. And the one, of course, that I released was the Rangers run line to the VIPs, because I'm not giving out 160s or 170s. I just don't do that. We don't do that here at ECSI, I should say. And so they win 2-1. But overall, I thought we were spot on. And we talk about the Jekyll and Hyde, and there's the Jays again, the Orioles flying. Guys, we got about 5-6 weeks left, and I'm really, starting to wonder about the American League East. I'm not saying the Yankees aren't going to win the division. They're going to win the division, trust me, okay? But they're floundering right now. Shutout again. The Jays have hit a wall. They cannot get consistent starting pitching. Manoah has hit a wall. Pitching tonight. He needs to stop the bleeding. He needs to make a difference today. Opened up at 197, now right around 200, 205. We'll get into that. So big night tonight. I'd be interested to see what our co-host has to say about the slate and about last night and about everything. And I talked about his White Sox yesterday. I talked about the fact you needed to get in there and make a statement. Get out early. Well, they didn't, but they rallied the troops. And can you imagine? Even the manager listened to a guy in the stands about a pinch runner late, and it came out. They scored, I think, 4 in the bottom of the 8th. Now they got Cy Verlander at that. So let's bring him in from the Windy City himself, the one and only Mr. Riley Magnuson. What is up, sir?
Happy Tuesday, my friend. You mentioned it. It's a solid slate that we had yesterday. I think the only one that we really had some thoughts on that you didn't mention was the Nats over the Cubs. Little Josiah Gray over Stroman there. I think first 5 and full game for the Nats was solid there. But believe it or not, some clutch with runners in scoring position hitting in the 8th inning last night. A 2-out, nobody on rally. I couldn't believe my eyes. And for anyone who hasn't realized how much Tony sleeps at the wheel throughout these games, that was a testament. I saw somebody kind of like, do you actually think he didn't want to do that? If you watch the game, it was a full almost 60-second pause. And if you're watching that video, you see Jose Abreu get ready to take that at bat, and then Tony finally realizes not only was it a good pinch running move, it's a good defensive move for the top of the 9th and potentially beyond if they didn't get the hit that they got. So huge, biggest 2 hits of the season, I would say, from the tying hit for Eloy and then the go-ahead hit for Yohan Moncada in the 8th inning there for our entire season. And now obviously, you obviously are optimistic about tonight, but it's not as you're not as tight after if you had lost last night coming into tonight with Verlander on the mound. So you're probably coming in with a little momentum. But nonetheless, it's going to be a solid slate tonight, a few solid matchups. The rest of the sports world, Tiger Woods showing up by plane to set up the old PGA Tour meeting. But nonetheless, it should be a good Tuesday. I'm ready to get rocking and rolling. I'm actually going to be. I couldn't pass it up for how many Sox games I've been to today this season. I couldn't pass up this. I'm going to be in attendance for Cease and Verlander tonight. I couldn't pass that one up. So you'll see me live in prime time from the South Side tonight for that one.
Well, if that's the case, first of all, make sure you send us lots of pictures. Don't be afraid to show us a few, hot dog and beer shots either. Shara Pam will like that,
Hey, I've got. I haven't took my girlfriend to the park. She's actually never been to the White Sox park, so she's coming with me. She's demanded some nachos, so you might get some nacho shot. Maybe I'll splurge with a dog of my own. But yeah, you'll get some shots for sure tonight.
Well, we'll do a fast, brisk pace. What's the train, the subway?
Oh no, not even. No worries as far as that's concerned. I got picking up my girlfriend from work at 6. It's 2 hours away, and then we're getting on the train. So no worries as far as that's concerned. Not at all.
Any news from the front, from the PGA? There was a lot of speculation or rumors around, the potential, what they're looking to do, what they might do, yada, yada, yada. I mean, we got 2 weeks left of the FedEx Cup.
Yeah.
And let me see. Could be brain dead here. This is a President Cup year, right? Not a Ryder Cup year?
That sounds right. You know what? I would normally know that a little easier. COVID definitely messed up my timeline as far as knowing which one is which year. So I'm honestly not 100% positive there.
I think it's a President Cup year.
I think so.
We know.
I think so because the buzz would be a little bit hotter as far as the Ryder Cup with everything that's going on if it was the Ryder Cup, right?
Yeah. So we have 2 weeks left of the FedEx Cup. Then, the season used to, just dilly-dally. And now I don't want to say it's year-round because, listen, they play some tournaments at the end of the year. They do the Hawaiian tour. Then they stay out west. So I'm not saying it's full year-round coverage, but it's basically seems like they play. But technically in this year's, is there 2 weeks left in the Ryder Cup champ, and then how does it progress from there?
After whatever the Ryder Cup and President's Cup, it's kind of like I don't remember the exact timing of it, but they could set it up a little bit better, but it is the new season does start before the next calendar year, so I can't remember if it's November or October, but it is a little. I think it's November. As far as if I remember from last year, I think it was Max Homa getting that first win, and it's definitely during football season. So sometime in the fall, as far as that next official year of the PGA season is concerned.
So once someone wins the FedEx Cup, like I'm in a one and done, and I'm in another tournament where it's season long. Once the FedEx Cup is hoisted, is there still more tournaments in this calendar year that there would be points being gained?
As far as it would be for next season, as far as next season is concerned, just looking at it, it's this upcoming week and then the next one, and then there's definitely a gap. It's got some of those events, and then for the most part, I think September and October are kind of the off months for sure. So, just looking back to what this year was, it's there are a couple events actually, and last year it was middle of September. So I could be wrong as far as it might even be September as far as the next official calendar year starts here.
Okay. Because I'm in the one of the season long, I'm like 4 or 5 guys. I think the top 12 pay, and I'm like 18th out of 500. And then in the one and done, I'm in the top 400. And it says I'm still getting cash back, which I find hard to believe because, I mean, there were like 4,400 people, and I'm like 468th or something stupid. But they got me. They got me almost winning 3 times my entry fee, which I'm like, Jesus, well, it doesn't seem right. That's all. So I was kind of curious if, my guys get hot here. We got 2 more weeks, guys. They need to wake up.
I know. It should be interesting this week. As far as, the LIV is concerned, I don't know. It's interesting. I'm not sure if this was timed as far as this meeting is concerned, but I just saw something as far as some news. I'm not trying to get too political, but as far as Saudi Arabian government announcement as far as or news as far as imprisoning a woman for 34 years for tweeting about women's rights activism, pretty basic rights, and she gets sentenced to 34 years in prison. And this story just broke within the last couple of days. So Whether or not that has anything to do with trying to stop any defections to that tour or not, I don't know. But yeah, it's if you're seeing that and yeah, still taking that money, then yeah, look at yourself in the mirror a little longer next time.
Had Julian on this morning. We kind of circled the locals for a while. We hit upon our weekly KD talk. And the locals today on 98.5 Felgren Maz are talking about it. They brought up a good point. So I wanted to address this with you, someone from Chicago area. Why is this still being talked about? Why it gets quiet for a week and then all of a sudden something else comes, like Durant and retirement. KD put out on his Twitter that I don't know who the hell's saying this. Right. He's not going to retire. The locals today, just before I got into the studio, made a good point. Maybe some of the Celtics management want Durant. Maybe some of them don't. They're undecided. I think coach wants him. I think they want the 1-2 punch of Tatum and KD. They think that'll be the best 1-2 punch in the game. Now, I guess over the weekend, Tatum has made the group. He's at Draymond Green's wedding with LeBron, with some of the other big stars. So he has made the elite group. Well, then the next day or over the weekend, he's at a shoot-around of practicing with KD. So if the Celtics don't want to trade Jaylen Brown and they don't want this, they could have squashed it, and they haven't. Again today, they're leaders in the clubhouse. If you want KD, you got to come with someone better than Jaylen Brown, which most teams will not do. So you from, and now the Chicago Bulls. What are you thinking? What are you hearing? How are you feeling in all of this?
Yeah, it really seems like, I mean, there's a lot of things to unpack there. As far as, if I'm any team that wants Kevin Durant, I want the asking price to go about half of whatever we're sitting at right now. We talked about at the beginning of the offseason as far as a couple of these trades and moves for guys that are significantly lower status than Kevin Durant, kind of setting the tone for the packages. I mean, the Rudy Gobert trade, whatever it was, 4 first-round picks, that kind of has set a tone, and it's kind of a reason why we haven't seen any of these trades. I mean, throw the Donovan Mitchell conversation in there as well. And so that, as far as why these trades haven't been happening, I think is part of the reason. But now, as far as these random stories are concerned, it's a combination of, I think these, some of these teams trying to force the Nets' hand and put these seeds in there. As far as, I couldn't believe my eyes when I saw that story too, as far as him potentially retiring if he doesn't get traded. But I don't know who. There's somebody that's putting those seeds out in the world. And on top of that, from an NBA standpoint, the NBA has always done a good job of whenever you kind of seem like it's been a little too quiet for the last week or so, just about when you feel like it's been a little too quiet lately, then you start to hear things and see things, these buzz type of conversations. So, I think that's a part of it. I'm at a point where I don't know exactly what's going to happen. I kind of leaning towards, at least for the start of the season, him and Kyrie are still going to be there. And from the Nets' perspective, it seems like they're, kind of being firm as far as not lowering the price halfway through the floor of what it is now. So, the NBA does a great job of at least staying relevant in the news. Obviously, we're in the middle of August, and the season doesn't start for 2 more months. And, obviously they want to be in the conversation more than they have been over the last month. So I think that's part of it. But, at the end of the day, I don't know if he's going to go or not. And if I'm the Nets, I don't want to lower that asking price. And, if I'm the Nets again, I my best chance of winning the title in the next 5 to 10 years probably sits with Kevin Durant on my team, as opposed to him, leaving and the Nets rebuilding. So I'm not sure what's going to happen, but there's a lot of people pulling the strings from behind the scenes and in different avenues from my perspective over here.
And to close out the NBA, and we kind of knew this was coming. It's been quiet for about a month now. Looks like Trader Danny has picked up that phone again and gave the Knicks a little wake-up call saying, hey, we still got someone here that you guys want, so what are you going to give for him?
Right, and that's another one where the Knicks probably want or probably don't want that asking price very high, and obviously the Jazz are and Danny is the leading candidate of guys who somehow managed to get more than what they should be getting for these guys, and I'm of the position I think Donovan Mitchell is really, really good, but Yeah, I don't think he's going to be the number one player on a championship team ever, and I think the Jazz realize that. And I think that's why they're at a point where, with all due respect to him, I think that's where they're at with that situation. And they found a team in the Knicks that they saw a little bit of success a couple of years ago in the outpouring of love from the fan base, even with just a solid season. Now you bring in a potential all-star, which he absolutely is. I think the Knicks should open their pocketbook up a little bit more than they're probably willing to get this guy in, because it doesn't seem like they're anywhere near getting anyone of a higher status than him, which obviously they'd like to. But at the same time, I don't think they want to go through another 35 to 40 win season in New York once again this season. So I actually think they are going to open up that book a little bit and pay a little more than they should be for Donovan Mitchell. But and that's an interesting case where I think it's a good move where they make themselves better, but also it kind of pigeonholes them into a perennial 6th seed in the Eastern Conference. I don't think the ceiling is much higher after that. So I think it's going to get done, but I'm not sure when and for how much is definitely the question still at this point.
All right, full slate. Slate is yours. Fire away.
All righty. So the first one up, I think we've got in a couple hours now. Phillies and Reds. A couple games starting at 5:40 my time, 6:40 your time. Philly and Cincinnati. Kyle Gibson and I'm already drawing a blank on his first name, but TJ Zeech. Not sure how you pronounce that one. Second start for the Phillies. First one, 4 innings pitched, 6 earned runs. Gibson, 3 straight, 2 earned runs or less, I do believe. Were you surprised? Would you like this one to be a little higher, or is this one fair? I mean, Gibson obviously been good lately, still a little hit or miss. Would you like this one to be a little higher, or is this a fair price here on whatever it is, about minus 170, 175?
Overnight 180, adjusted maybe a little. Currently, right now it's circa 173. I'm seeing a 165 at Westgate, a 160 with our friends at the South Point. Don't know anything about Mr. Zook or whatever they want to call him. This guy calls me every time, right on point. It smells a little fishy to me. The under-over opened at 9.5, still 9.5 at Circa Westgate, down to 9 at South Point and DraftKings. I'm not going to, anyone that wants to get in with the Phillies run line, I can see it. You're in Cincinnati. You should score runs. I think it will take 5 or 6 to get that run line covered. I think since he puts up a few runs, I was doing some quick math yesterday because the team totals for the most part is that 4.5 number. And of the 32, I think it was 21 and 11 towards the under for the 4.5s last night. And it does smell to me. I was going to say initially Gibson's been leaking some oil, but you said his last 3 starts have been pretty good. How about this? He's overdue for some regression. How's that sound?
I think so. I'm a little tentative to do anything with the Cincinnati offense, but I think that would be the only spot that I'd be willing to go in this one because it does smell a little bit. It's not quite in that stinky range yet. I could absolutely see, the Phillies bats destroying. I don't know much about this. Like you're saying as well, I don't know much about this guy, but yeah, I think I could see some regression for Gibson, and maybe that's where the numbers lie. I'm not sure, but I'm gonna stay away from it. It's not good enough for me on this one.
I agree.
Next one, same time. This one is interesting. San Diego and Miami. Let's see. Minaya and Cabrera. Miami gets a 3-0 win yesterday. Still can't crack past 3, but they get the win, obviously. Cabrera for the Marlins. Last 2 starts, 10 2/3, 3 hits, no earned runs versus that's between the Cubs and Phillies. 2 outings there. One of them was, I think, 5 innings, no hits at all. And Minaya has not been very good. Not been living up to his name and price tag over there in San Diego right now. Is this line a little bit smelly? It is minus 155-ish I am seeing. Is this one a little smelly and maybe another dominant Cabrera start here for the Marlins?
I think we had Minaya on his last start. We went against him against the Dodgers. He got lit up like a Christmas tree. A lot of the Padre fans are not happy. They thought they'd be getting a lot better pitcher than he has pitched up to. Expecting a better start. The number smells to holy heaven. An under-over only of a flat 7, juiced over. So again, first 1 to 4 wins. A game that I expect a bounce back from Manaea. I don't know what you're going to get from Cabrera. Again, first 1 to 4 wins. How's that?
I mean, that doesn't sound great if you're a Marlins fan. As far as that's the kryptonite number right there. So, yeah, that's a solid analysis on that one. Coming to not in your neck of the woods, but your Boston Red Sox heading to Pittsburgh. Pivetta and Mitch Keller, Pittsburgh 4 straight losses. 3, I believe, were to the San Francisco Giants. Boston, obviously, 2 out of 3 against the Yankees. If they can dominate this series, they at least get themselves kind of back in the wild card picture a little bit here. But Boston only about minus 140 on the line of this one. Another one, is this line smelling to you if you're interested in the Boston Red Sox?
This reminds me of the weekend 4-game series against the Royals. This was our get well. We are going to be, this was 10 days ago. This was going to be our launching pad. They lost 3 out of 4. They come home to Atlanta. They get swept, and they beat Baltimore in that 1-game series, and then they take 2 out of 3 from the Yankees. Again, from Red Sox Nation, you would think this is going to be a great momentum. We're going to keep it going. It smells to holy heaven. Pivetta, don't forget, pitched in the NL East with the Phillies back in the day. The number's only 135. They're just setting up more windows. Red Sox fans, don't push. We got more windows over here. It smells to high heaven. It really, really does.
I'm 100% with you. Would you be more interested in any Pirates action themselves or any team totals for the Pirates? Because I mean, we've seen Pivetta get blown up so many times this season. So would you be more comfortable with the Pirates just in general? Because I mean, Mitch Keller's been solid at times. He's been solid lately. So maybe would you prefer the Pirates in general or the team total for the Pirates in that one?
You can get the team total for the Pirates over 3.5 minus 120. I'll back that one.
Okay. No, I'm with you on that one. That one. Yeah, we've got 3 in a row that at least had some type of, maybe this one stinks a little bit. Next one up, Cubs versus Nats. Nats get the win yesterday, as we mentioned. Cubs a little bit higher price today, minus 160, I do believe. Steele versus Corbin. Corbin 4-16 this year. I had to double check because I didn't realize how many losses he had. Most losses in the 21st century, Jeff, is 21 losses for a starting pitcher in the 21st century. That is the record. He's got 16 of them right now. No idea what to expect from these guys. But the line is giving a little respect to the Cubs, or would you like to see this one a little bit higher with Corbin on the mound in this case?
Well, this was an initial, SoCal special. It's been fade Corbin all year. Our little joke here, is it steel or aluminum can? Okay, I'm going to go on record, and we'll see how good this record is tomorrow morning when we do the breakfast bankroll. You ready?
Yeah.
Cubs minus the hook first 5. Cubs run line full game. Cubs team total over 4.5 minus 137. Cubs win.
Okay. No, I like it. I mean, I'm staring at a 7.01 ERA with a 4-16 record. So that is at least something to take a second look at there if you're trying to fade the Nats. So I'm with you on that one for sure. And a bounce back spot for the Cubs. So I'm with you there. A team that is absolutely struggling right now. We mentioned the AL East. Tampa Bay gaining some momentum, obviously, the last few days. Tampa Bay going into the Yankees again. You've got Springs versus Cortez. Both these guys actually pretty similar numbers this season to this point. Typically go about five or so innings, give or take an inning or so, and they've been their numbers are pretty close. Any worth in playing the Rays that continue to fade the Yankees, or are you staying away and you expecting the Yankees to bounce back here at some point?
Was it 2-8, 2-9 their last 11? I mean, the list is endless. What are they, like 15-28 their last 31? I mean, they're bleeding, they're leaking, and I'm not. It's funny now. Gambling Twitter, all the Yankee fans. This team sucks. This guy sucks. Yada yada yada. You rather be doing this now than in late September, early October. So get it out of the system. Their offense is anemic. They've been shut out now back-to-back games. I'm not saying in comes, Cy Young here. The Rays are one of those teams when you're not batting and not hitting well, I don't want to face them. They come in from all different angles, and so I can't back the Yankees at all. Anyone that wants to, God bless you, good luck. Let them win a couple. Let them lose 9-8 at least. At least you know the bats are back. Scotty Webb talked about this team for a long, long time, saying their numbers are not adding up, guys. They don't get enough hits. It's a walk, homer. They're not manufacturing a lot of hits. They're getting a lot of 2-run, 3-run grand slams. Well, they're not getting on base. So if you're not getting on base, how are you going to hit a 3-run homer? Right. So I think you got to let this play out. If you had the Rays last night, then we talked about ESPN game traveling. That was the Yankees. They lost against Garrett Cole. I know Cortez isn't Garrett Cole. So if you were on the Rays yesterday, you can sprinkle a little beer and pizza money. If you weren't on the Rays yesterday, you can sprinkle a little beer and pizza money. If you were on the Yankees yesterday, shame on you. You didn't listen to the show, and go back and get them. I don't care.
Yeah, no, I'm 100% with you. I mean, yeah, you mentioned it. This is probably the perfect time to do this if you're going to do this at any point in the year. I mean, there's been a handful of teams that had the type of lead that they had in the division. Watch it evaporate and then kind of salvage it, second half of September, then get their feet back under them for the playoffs. In this case, I mean, if they have a bad week though, I mean, they're looking at, I think, 2 more with Tampa Bay, 4 with Toronto, who obviously isn't playing great right now. But if they have a bad week, this division is open for business again. Am I wrong?
No, you're not. Listen, I'm trying to think of the year. 78. It was 78. Red Sox had a 9-game lead September 1st, and my grandfather made a bet with me. He goes, Jeffy, if the Red Sox win the division, I'm going to buy you a brand new bike. Well, 78 was the year that they lost the 9-game lead, and they had the 1-game play-in, and Bucky Dent hit that homer that is, just got into the net, and the rest. And Kyle Yastrzemski gets up with 2 guys on, fouls out to Craig Nettles in foul territory in third base with Goose Gossage pitching. My grandfather still brought the bike down for me, so he gave it to me anyways.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, I mean, the teams aren't really comparable that much, but my 2005 White Sox, the team that won the World Series, a very similar case of fantastic through July. I think they had a 15, 16 game lead in the AL Central, right? But almost identically having the same type of stretch, and then it finally came down to the Cleveland came all the way back, and the White Sox had to win a series. I think the last week of the season finally won the division after having a 15-game lead about middle of July. So it can happen, and then obviously as long as you get your feet back under you, then you're obviously back in business. But yeah, if you can't stop the bleeding, then the bleeding's going to keep coming, obviously.
And don't forget too, the Mets had a 10-game lead over the Braves. And the Braves cut it all the way to 1, and they had that key series in New York. New York was able to, withstand this. And you said something real good there, Riley, is a 4-game series with the Jays. And the Jays might be just what they need to get the blood flowing again. And their pitching has been so bad. I mean, you're getting Kikuchi. You don't know which Berrios you're going to get. And Manoah's pitching tonight. And Manoah needs to pitch.
Yeah.
He needs one of those 7-8 innings, 3 hits, no runs. And they need the win and just to get that momentum back.
Yeah, well, let's lead right into it. That's a perfect transition because that's the one I had next on my list here. Kramer and Manoah, Baltimore and Toronto. Kramer's been hit or miss, obviously, but yeah, you just perfectly said it. Manoah hasn't been bad lately, but just not as good as he needs to be, not as dominant as they need at the top of their staff, obviously. We are seeing today about -205 right now. Is that line telling you that that's what we're going to see tonight, or is that just the books making a statement and expecting that that type of performance from Manoah?
I think the Vegas sets the numbers the way they want us to think. It's almost betting on the come. A lot of times when you have the 0-2 and 0-3 day, you come back with those same 3 plays, and then the next day, and they all come in. You're 1 day ahead of schedule. So these big pitchers, they're lightning rods. Okay. Yeah. So again, Jays lose. Come on, Manoah's pitching. They're struggling. They're going to bounce back. Well, you got to pay the piper. You got to pay the tax. I mean, you can go in there, play the Jays minus the hook first 5. You can play them full game run line if you want. Just, again, realize this. they're not scoring a boatload of runs right now.
Right.
The Guerreros, the Bo Bichettes, these guys aren't raking like we thought that they would. So it's almost the pressure's starting to, come here. Again, 61-53. Baltimore is 60-55. A win by Baltimore, and Baltimore is tied again with the Jays.
I love it. Yeah, it's well, I mean, it's interesting. The run line would be enticing if you love the Jays, but it's plus 100, almost a little too good to be true for me in that category right there.
Come
So
on in. The water's
I know. Maybe they win 3-2. How about that? But I don't know. I'm expecting a little bit of a nice start from Manoah, but yeah, the tax is keeping me out of it for sure. So moving on here, Detroit and Cleveland. I believe they split yesterday. We had the game going on in the first game while we were talking yesterday. Detroit gets the second game after Cleveland got the first. You've got Garrett Hill and Zach Plesac on the mound. Plesac for the Guardians. Garrett Hill, a rookie. I don't know much about him. He's had 7 starts. 5 innings, 4 hits, 3 earned versus Cleveland last week. And Plesac has been a little hit or miss, obviously. Is that Cleveland facing a rookie for the second time in 6 days? Is that leading into some confidence for Cleveland's offense, or are you seeing something else on this one?
No, you got a blueprint on them. You're probably going to get the same thing, maybe 4 or 5 innings, probably, 3 runs. The fact that Cleveland, we talked about it too. It was 1-1 when we got off the air. Yeah. They scored a 3 spot. They took the 4-1 lead. They won the game 1. Don't forget, Vegas had the Guardians minus 200 the second game. In come the Tigers. Now, again, guys, that's basic MLB 101 there. Don't play the first game, and whoever loses, you come back with the second one. And if you did do that, you got yourself a nice plus 180, 190. I look for the Guardians to bounce back. I could see the under-over right now is at an 8 juiced under. I think let me see where Cleveland is on the team total. 4.5 over minus 18. Detroit, 3.5 juice under minus 150. A flat 8. I'll go on record here. I'm going to go 5-2 Guardians. So if you like the run line, I'll back the Guardians tonight.
I'm interested. I've got a little play. I've got I did first 5 team total for the Guardians. Over 2.5 at plus 100, right on the Cleveland Guardians to blow up Garrett Hill in this one.
We'll go Jose Ramirez 3-run jack. How's that?
Ooh. In my White Sox years, being in this stadium, I'm sure if they flash a score, the entire audience is gonna boo, and then you're gonna see me there with my ticket waving around if that's the case tonight. But moving on to the NL East, another fantastic matchup. It was a lopsided game yesterday. Mets and Braves. Braves get the 13-1 win yesterday. You talked about the Braves yesterday. You've got Walker and Morton today. Tough to read both of these guys from a start-to-start basis. Were you surprised the line was as high as it was, though, in this case, or is that a fair line in this one with Morton and Walker on the mound here?
I'm seeing a lot of money and movement now on the Braves. I think Met fans, TJ, if you're listening, expecting a bounce back here. Ground Chuck got us good. We had him first 5 against the Sox, his last start. And he gave up 4. No, I'm sorry. Atlanta scored for him, and he gave up 5. And it was just like a kick in the you-know-what. And then Atlanta wins, I think, in extras by 2 or something. Expect a bounce back. I'm expecting Atlanta here also to continue this. They're 4 games back, 75 wins for the Mets, 71 for Atlanta. 4.5 in the loss column. So I like Atlanta, 8.5 total. I hate a team that puts up 2 touchdowns like Atlanta did yesterday. I expect them to win. I can't get into the money line, but if you wanted to go back on the run line, I don't have a problem with it right now. Atlanta team total 4.5 over minus 125. Mets team total over 3.5 minus 130. It's a 9. Someone's getting the 5 or 6 tonight.
Yeah, no, definitely. That's kind of what I was leaning toward. I think one of these guys is going to have a rough day, but I think I'm 100% with you. Moving back to the AL Central on this next one, Minnesota and Kansas City. You've got did these 2 teams play yesterday? I'm drawing a blank.
Who was it?
Minnesota and Kansas City. They didn't play. Oh, they did. Minnesota got the win last night. That's right. Yep. But you've got Greinke and Gray on the mound today. Gray for the Twins. Gray's been solid lately as far as what his considerations are. Greinke 0 earned runs last time out. But I actually didn't realize this. His road ERA this season, I think it was 9 starts. His road ERA is north of 7. He has been fantastic at home for the Royals. And has been abysmal on the road for the Royals in this one. So is that leading you into anything on this one? Or are you ignoring that altogether? Any which way you're leaning on this one?
Team totals: Minnesota 4.5 under 120, KC 3.5 under -139 at flat 8. Zach got us good last time. He did. He got me good. Like you said, difference between pitching at home and on the road. Sonny Gray on the other side has gotten us a couple times. Would expect Minnesota to wear down Kansas City. The pesky Royals. The kids are coming up. They're hitting. Salvador Perez is hitting again. It's enticing. How's that sound? It's enticing. I don't have a problem with a Minnesota first 5 minus the hook Minnesota run line. A team total 4.5 over +110. I'm okay with that. They're enticing you to think Kansas City won't get to 4. I lean everywhere Minnesota here and just more against Zach on the road. How's that?
No, I think I'm with you, and I mean, I watched the start with Greinke closely, and it was he was solid, but I mean, Steve Stone, if you mentioned or if you watched the White Sox colored commentary, mentioned that he randomly like ran into Zach Greinke, and Greinke was telling him about why he is so confident when he faces the White Sox because the White Sox will just swing at anything, and this Minnesota offense is a little bit more disciplined, if you ask me, so. I do think he's gonna get a little bit blown up today. I'm with you 100%. I think first 5 team total over 2.5 is at plus money as well. So I'm interested full game and first 5 for the Twins a little bit in this one, but I'm more so in the team total market for my side.
No, I agree. I think it's a good spot for them. Get that crooked number early. Here's the problem that I've seen lately in baseball: LOBs, LOBs,
Yes.
LOBs. Getting guys on base and just first and second, no outs. Guy on second, no outs. Guy on third, 1 out, and not able to produce runs. And those 1 run per innings, they add up.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's been driving me insane as far as watching my team do it. So you're preaching to the choir over here. Another interesting matchup: Colorado and St. Louis. Freeland for Colorado, Quintana for the Cardinals. Quintana has been good in 2 starts with the Cardinals so far. Freeland beat up by Cardinals last outing. The Rockies, however, take 2 out of 3 from the Cardinals last week. Are we going to see some stiff revenge from the Cardinals this week now that they're in St. Louis and they get the nice momentum off of the series win over the Brewers? Or are you seeing any value on the road team, Rockies, in this one at plus 195, close to 200 here?
Yeah, St. Louis team total 4.5 -110, and Colorado 2.5 over -143. It's a flat 8. Everyone will go back to this last start. They never duplicate it, so you're supposed to take the under here. Both pitchers should do well. I'm not going to bite the cheese on over 2.5 for Colorado, that's for sure. You would think, and again, St. Louis great against lefties. You would think that they could get to 5 or 6, but they'll end up probably stuck on 4. So it's a hard pass today.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. I didn't look at the pitching matchups, but yeah, any expectation that the Cardinals are going to smoke them for most of the series in this one after what we saw last week?
Where are the Cardinals sitting? The Cardinals at 63 wins, Milwaukee at 61, still a 2-game lead, and Milwaukee has got their ace on the mound today with Woodruff. They are facing the Dodgers, and we'll get to that one in a second. The Brewers are actually favored. I think it's only the 6th time this year the Dodgers have been a dog. I would put the Cardinals on upset alert just because it's a good bounce back spot for Freeland. He pitches better on the road.
Yes.
Maybe that Colorado can get to Quintana. He's due for some regression. He's drinking the Cardinal juice, and these pitchers all of a sudden wake up and they're Cy Youngs or something. Yeah. So, yeah, I think this is going to be a low-scoring game for sure.
Okay, I like it. Next one up, we talked lots about it a little bit yesterday. Obviously, the Rangers fired their manager and get the win yesterday. You've got Oakland going into Texas again. I don't know if I've ever had more of a question mark, throw my hands up, and have absolutely no interest in getting into a game this entire season more than I have with this game right now. I have no clue what to expect. JP Sears versus Kohei Arihara. This is Arihara's first start of the season. Sears just came over from the Yankees, 9 straight losses for Oakland. Any advice on this game at all, or are you also throwing your hands up and have no idea like I do over here?
Well, unfortunately, it's going to sound like I'm playing both sides here because you keep riding the streak after you fire the manager.
Yeah.
But with that said, it is absolutely 1,000% an Oakland A's number tonight. It is down to 125 at Jazz, 128 at South Point, 124 at Circa. It's an Oakland A's number. You can mark that down. A's win.
Okay, I'll take it. I'll take that advice. I will. But yeah, I mean, I've never before I dove in a little bit further. Just saw that pitching matchup, and I was just like, no, thank you. Yeah, moving on. Next one, no, thank you. Don't even want to waste a breath on this one. But yeah, no, you're right. There's more to it than I'm leading on for sure. Next one up, you mentioned it a second ago. Dodgers going into Milwaukee again here today. Dodgers get the win last night, but the Dodgers are underdogs tonight. You've got Pepio, I believe is the pronunciation of versus Woodruff. Woodruff obviously hasn't been what he was last year. However, at home, he's got a 5-0 record, 2.38 ERA. 171 opponent batting average compared to 266 on the road. Is the line everything to do with the pitching matchup today? Is it more about Woodruff or more about Pepio as far as the odds we're seeing today?
Dodgers in general, both teams 3.5 over -140. It's a flat 8. If you had the Brewers last night, you got to come back with the Brewers again. You're not going to get Woodruff at that price, number one. But if you said, Jeff, I got the Dodgers, who right now the Dodgers are 80-34, and you're going to give me plus money, you can take the Dodgers. I don't have a problem with it. But again, they're calling Pepio back up. Listen, I don't like going against Woodruff, especially at home. If you want to dive in, how's this? Woodruff first 5. How's that?
Okay. No, I'm with you on that one. I think that's a safe one for sure. I could see, I could see the Dodgers putting up something late in this one for sure. They're terrifying. You're absolutely right. They are a terrifying team if you are betting against them. But Woodruff, if he rounds into form, that's a dangerous asset that the Brewers have there, obviously. So, next one up, I mentioned I will be there in attendance tonight. One of the best pitching matchups of the year that we've had so far. Verlander and Cease on the south side. Another one, -125 now I'm seeing for the Astros, +110 or so for the White Sox. And are you playing both sides in this one, or is that smelly if you're interested in the Astros?
Verlander's worst start of the year in my eyes. Last game, expect the Bulldog, the Cy Young winner. Cease, on the other hand, I think we had him his last start, and I think we were snake bit. Again, you guys aren't scoring. If you had the White Sox yesterday, feel confident, go back with them again. You're starting to put a couple together. This is supposed to be a low-scoring game. It's a 7 under -15. Team totals right now are, where are we here on this board? How come I can't find you? There you are. Verlander, 3.5 over, -18. Your White Sox 3.5 under, -150. So they're telling you this: you're not getting the 4, and probably the Astros aren't getting the 4. They're saying the under 7 is the play. I tell you what, you're going to be in the game. You want some big cojones, you take the White Sox today, and you also go the team total over 3.5. And they're giving you +130 on it. How's that?
I'm happy that you're giving me some optimism. I don't know. I'm hoping for some positives, but the offense. I mean, even last night, though, through the first 7 innings of that game, it was putrid for 7 innings last night. So I'm thinking, I'm thinking this is going to be a very low-scoring game. I think it's going to be a 2-1 win, one way or another, if you ask me, as far as whoever. I don't know who it's going to be, but obviously I hope it's the Sox. But I think this first one to 2 tonight.
let me just tell you this. When you get matchups like that, that's what Vegas wants. That's what everyone thinks. You could be sitting with your girlfriend, top of the third, and it's already 2-2 or 3-3.
Yeah, you know what? I'm actually nervous. I mean, Dylan Cease's had what 15, whatever it is, starts a 1 earned run or less. I'm nervous that this is the night that Dylan Cease regresses a little bit. He just had a shirt come out, "Oh Slider Slide," a poem about his slider. It's the most valuable pitch in baseball. And I've talked about it. He's proven me wrong, and I'm obviously happy for it. At the beginning of the season, I talked about his next level of progression is stepping up in these big matchups in these games against these good lineups. And so I'm a little worried that Cease could be the one. Maybe he'll have another start where he's got 9 strikeouts, but a few bombs given up. I'm hoping I'm wrong on that one, but I couldn't pass it up. I had to get in the stands for it tonight.
I'll go on record if that's the case. We'll take an Alvarez bomb.
No, you can't. No, take it back. You got to take that one back. Hey, there's a couple guys that got some decent numbers against Verlander, so it'll probably translate to singles, and we'll have 3 straight singles and no runs scored somehow. So this is the next one up. We'll move off of that one. 2 more left, both on the West Coast. Seattle and L.A. Angels, Robbie Ray versus Suarez. Suarez, last 3, 0 earned run, but it was Kansas City and 2 times against the Oakland A's. So take that for whatever it's worth. Any way to get into this one? I believe the Mariners take the 6-2 win last night in that matchup that we had last night, and we got -175 for the Mariners today. Over under of about 7.5 in most spots I am seeing here tonight. Are we going to see another? Are we going to see an even better pitching matchup tonight, or at least performance, I should say, than we saw last night, or is one of these guys going to have a rough night?
Well, we started the year fade Robbie Ray. Ray's actually been pitching well. Suarez is on fire. A 4.5 on Seattle under -125. Angels 3.5 under -145. So they're saying the Angels are not going to get to 3. Now, what's that mean? Does Seattle just get to 4 and win, 4-3, and it lands on 7? The under over 7.5. You would expect with Seattle winning yesterday against Shohei, right? It was against, yeah.
Yep.
They're supposed to win today, so don't expect the unexpected, as we say. So if you had Shohei yesterday and lost, you got to go back to the window and grab the plus price, and hopefully it's a fade Robbie Ray day.
Yeah, I mean, he was good last night, Shohei. Did you see? I saw a clip where he was basically like experimenting with some sinker action like mid-game of last night, and it was actually looking pretty damn effective. So the next month and a half or so might be an interesting stretch of Shohei Ohtani starts where he might just be playing around for next year. We'll see.
Hey, he's playing for $50 million a year now.
Hey, I can't blame the guy. I mean, it was working in real time. So hopefully we see some more XP. But maybe he throws in an Ephus or a Vulcan change or one of these crazy pitches or something like that. Who knows?
I can't wait.
Last one up. Giants getting some momentum right now. They've got the Diamondbacks again here. Giants 4 straight W's. You've got Merrill Kelly, however, coming in versus Jacob Junis. Kelly obviously has been pretty damn solid all year round. Junis, I do believe, is looking for a bounce back, though. He's been okay this year, but he got blown up a little bit last couple times, actually. 2 1/3 versus San Diego, 7 hits, 6 earned runs, 2 walks, 3 strikeouts. Are you expecting a bounce back here, or are you thinking maybe the Diamondbacks and Merrill Kelly have some value here for that side of things, for the road team here tonight?
It's definitely an Arizona number. It's the Giants again. We're trying to almost like your White Sox. They're starting to build that momentum, but that number it smells like that Oakland number. It's the same here with Arizona. That's an Arizona number to high heaven. Maybe Junis bounced back. It's an 8. Maybe this is a 6-5 game, but like the Oakland A's number, this is definitely an Arizona number.
Yeah, I was thinking. Yeah, you took the words out of my mouth. I as far as another team with a decent size, especially what they did last year, even more so than maybe my White Sox. When the public sees them putting together those wins, they think, okay, this is the time where it's go time for the Giants. And I would expect this line would be at least -150 if the Giants were that the team's supposed to win in this one. But nonetheless, I believe that is everything for the MLB slate. Anything else to add before we get out of here?
No, it's a tough board. Some decent pitching matchups, like you said, Verlander and Cease. Definitely the highlight of the night. I'm looking right now at my Red Sox Pittsburgh. I'm trying to think outside the box against Keller. Maybe a Rafael Devers homer there, lefty versus righty there.
Yeah.
I talked about the lefty. Oh my God, I just had a brain. Alvarez for the Astros. I'm
Yeah.
giving you a little jab there. Um, Other than that, again, big night for Manoah in Toronto to stop the bleeding. Big night for the Yankees and Cortez to stop the bleeding. Interested to see if St. Louis stays on the gas against Colorado. I'm expecting a low-scoring game there. Same with the Braves now. You got to keep your foot on the gas. You put up a couple touchdowns yesterday. You can't get to the bottom of the ninth down a run or 2-2 tonight. So you got to jump on Walker early there. Is it steel or aluminum can? Again, we started early in the show. I was said Cubs first five, Cubs run line, Cubs team total over, which will probably come back, 1-0 Washington. And then again, nothing. I don't know anything about the Zook Master or Zook Duke or whatever his name is there. And then again, big bounce back spark for Manaea to San Diego. Try to put something together. 65 and 53, 12 games now over 500.
Yeah. Hey, I've got a little action. First five team totals for Cleveland and Minnesota, the two teams that my team is fighting for in the AL Central. So again, I've got two teams. If the entire stadium is booing, I'm gonna be holding my winning tickets in the middle of the stands and hoping I don't get pelted with beer, dogs, or worse. So, and then I'll obviously be rooting for the White Sox. And I anytime I go, I usually give a goofy parlay. But typically, I go crazy with like a $1 lottery ticket and hope for some fireworks. But now I might have to go hard on the alternate strikeout lines or something like that for both pitchers here tonight.
Tomorrow, myself and Riley are going to be probably around 10:30 my time. We're going to do a breakfast bankroll because there's a big afternoon slate. At 1 o'clock, Andrew McGinnis will be here as we cross the border on our weekly CFL and World Junior Hockey we'll be talking about. And then at 2:30, Dan Newbert, Dan Alexander from Wager Talk Cash Consideration Show, and a bunch of other Premier Lacrosse, Bet on Lacrosse. We're going to be talking Premier Lacrosse because he will be in the air on Wednesday heading to Vegas to go see the mayor himself. Him, Carl Newby, and a few of the others will be heading over to Vegas to spend the weekend out there. It's the Wager Talk meet and greet weekend, I think it is, as people are getting ready, getting signed up for the Circa contest, the Westgate contest, and all those other contests. So full slate for us tomorrow, Riley. We want you obviously to enjoy the game, get a foul ball, make sure we get the picture of the nachos, the hot dogs, the beers, and we don't want to be reading about you at the Chicago Tribune tomorrow morning or nothing like that.
No worries there. I will keep it civil, and fortunately, I'll be taking the train home, so no worries as far as any drastic things like that is concerned. But it should be a fun night, beautiful night at the ballpark, and hopefully a White Sox win in a fifth straight win. I do believe it would be 5 straight in a row. So that's what I'm crossing my fingers for, getting back into this picture, and hopefully I cash my other 2 first 5 tickets, but those teams managed to lose after that. So that's what I'm hoping for, and maybe we got some interesting stuff going on there.
For myself, Jeff Dawson at EC Sports Invest, from the one and only Riley Magnuson at Riley_Magnuson, the one. We wish everyone a blessed evening. Cash a few tickets, behave, be safe, enjoy the night, and you'll catch me and Riley back tomorrow morning. Have some fun, and we'll see you soon.